Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys predictions for your love life on Valentine's Day. Now obviously love is in the air and I wanted to give each zodiac sign kind of like an idea or vibe for their Valentine's Day and how it's going to go for them and just like the overall energy you can expect on that day and the days leading up to that day. And so this video is based on tarot. It's also a little bit of astrology mixed in. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. Watch this video for your sun, rising, moon, even your Venus sign can work really well too in this video. Okay, so let's talk about Valentine's Day for Aries. Okay, Aries, so the overall energy I pulled for you for Valentine's Day is the Knight of Wands and the King of Swords. Okay, Aries, so with this energy, the overall word I'm thinking for you is straightforwardness. So on Valentine's Day, either you or somebody around you that sees you in a romantic way is going to be very straightforward with you. I almost feel this really like blunt energy where you communicate your feelings to someone communicates their feelings to you, and it's going to be in a very direct way. This isn't like some like indirect passive aggressive energy. It's very straightforward energy. So you can expect that on Valentine's Day. And of course you can also expect this like next week and the days leading up to that day. But either way, I feel like somebody is going to express their feelings to you directly and very bluntly, or you yourself are going to express your feelings very bluntly. Overall, when it comes to love and romance, I do want to add that in Aries love life, I feel like you are kind of like over the games, you're over the BS. You're somebody who is very passionate, somebody who is very blunt, straightforward, and honest. And that's the only energy you're accepting from now on, if that makes sense. But I feel like you're moving forward with this very honest, blunt energy yourself, and you expect someone to mirror that about you, or you want to attract someone who has those same qualities. So I get this very non-BS vibe from you where you're like not accepting that anymore, and you really just want passion and honesty, and that's something that you will get, something you will receive maybe on Valentine's Day, the days around there, and that's something you are expressing to your, I guess, romantic partners or interests, and that's something that they will express to you back. And I really see that reciprocation happening, and you kind of doing your own thing until you get that specific reciprocation from people. And then so for single Aries, I'll give you your own message, and then for Aries in a relationship, I'll also give you a different message. So Aries that are single, it's so funny because I pulled the Three of Cups, and I feel like this is funny because Three of Cups is the celebration card. It's the card of socializing. If we think about the card literally, it's people literally like drinking. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll put it in the B-roll footage too, but it's literally people just cheersing or having a toast. On Valentine's Day, if you're single, I definitely see you. This can literally manifest as you going to a party or a bar or something very social. I do see you socializing on that day. And of course, there might be alcohol involved or something like that, some sort of social gathering. As I mentioned earlier with your overall energy, you're kind of in this vibe of not accepting anything other than honesty, bluntness, and passion. So on that day, I feel like you're gonna have fun anyway. Even if you're single, I feel like you're just gonna do your own thing. Like, I genuinely feel on Valentine's Day for Aries, if you're single, you're just gonna be doing your own thing, unbothered, and I feel like you're gonna be living your best life on that day if you're single. And like I said, whether somebody comes with an offer or not, you're still gonna be very much in this high vibration and very confident about who you are and your standards. Okay, so let's talk about Aries that are in a relationship. Okay, so Aries in a relationship, on the day of Valentine's Day or the days around that day, I do sense that with your partner, like if you go on a date or something, I feel like you're gonna do something with them that you've done before, if that makes sense. Like let's say you have a couple restaurant that you really like going to, or you guys have a spot that you like, or I really feel like you guys are gonna do something that kind of reminds you of your relationship and something that's like a major theme in your relationship. I don't really sense you doing something new, if that makes sense. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there's like this not really exciting energy on Valentine's Day if you're in a relationship. It's almost, I don't want to say the word boring, but that's the word that I keep hearing. It's sort of like boring. I'm not saying your Valentine's Day will be boring, but I feel like it's going to be something like, oh, we've done this before, or oh, we've been here before. It's not, I don't see like anything new being introduced on that day, which makes sense because it's retrograde. So it's like you guys are doing something that you've done in the past, because that's the theme of retrograde, is the past, and how it relates to the future. And also I see for some Aries in a relationship, someone might be really focused on work during that day, and that kind of might damper your plans, or there might be some sort of work thing involved that might be kind of like raining on your parade on Valentine's Day, or somebody's really caught up in work, or there's this theme of work present, or somebody being focused on something other than you on that day. So yeah, for some Aries in a relationship, you might just do something you've done before, gone to a place you've been before with your partner, or there might be some sort of thing where one of you guys has a work event or work I guess endeavor that they're really focused on, and that might put a little bit of a damper or separation between you guys on Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Also, if you want to see your Mercury and retrograde predictions, I have that on my channel. I'll link it down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about Valentine's Day for Taurus. Okay, Taurus, so the overall energy for you on Valentine's Day, or the days kind of surrounding that day, I pulled the 8 of Cups, and also pulled the 7 of Wands. So overall, this is a very interesting energy overall for you, Taurus. I feel like in your romantic life, you might be having kind of like a mental conflict of maybe like taking someone back, or you have this mental conflict of someone from the past, like a past lover, someone that you might have like a karmic partnership with. I just did a video about karmic relationships and zodiac signs. I'll link it down below. But really there's this like very karmic theme going on that day, or surrounding that day, where you're mentally kind of stuck on someone else, or you're trying to fight off thoughts about somebody else from the past, or there's something where it's like you're just not letting go of someone or the thought of someone, and it's kind of haunting you on that day because maybe you're feeling really nostalgic about it, or about a certain relationship or a certain person. And honestly, I feel for Taurus, it's so funny because I feel like on Valentine's Day, you're not going to be in the super most like excited mood for Valentine's Day, if that makes sense. I almost feel for Taurus, you have this energy of like, okay, whatever, it's just a BS holiday. You're not very much invested in it emotionally, I think, on Valentine's Day. Maybe you're the kind of person who doesn't invest themselves too much in Valentine's Day or the concept of it. And on that day, I see you being kind of like, whatever, like, I don't care. And then on the other hand, I feel like you're going to be kind of emotionally sensitive because you're kind of simping over a past relationship, or you just really have a past partnership on your mind so heavily on that day. And you might be kind of cranky because of it, and just cranky because of like the whole idea of Valentine's Day and this past person you're thinking about. And you might not be in the best of moods, or you just might be very indifferent or neutral to the whole thing. So I have one message for single Taurus, and then I have a message for Taurus that are in a relationship. Okay, so Taurus that are single, you actually pulled the 2 of Pentacles. So this is really interesting because I kind of see where this whole energy is going for you. Like this whole, like I really feel like I have a vibe of what your romantic life is like right now. And the cards are really telling me specifically for single Taurus that you do have to make a decision. And I feel like this decision relates back to this fact of like I said earlier, you're thinking about the past lovers, past relationships, and you're kind of forced to make a decision like, okay, you can like simp over this past person who is no longer in your life, but you can't forget about them, someone you just can't let go of, right? Or you can kind of, I guess, merge into the future, look past it, get a new boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So I feel like you're gonna have like 2 decisions on Valentine's Day, or just 2 decisions in your romantic life, or just really 2 decisions in your romantic life in the upcoming weeks, where you really have to decide between 2 kind of mindsets when it comes to dating, maybe 2 people, or really just 2 different paths as it relates to your dating life. So you are gonna have to make a decision about that, especially if you're single. There's a lot of ways your life can go. Because if you're single, I feel like you're gonna have many options, or maybe just 2 options. And when you have these different options, you really have to weigh out like how your life will turn out based on this one option. So I feel like you do have to make an important decision. I feel like you're gonna make the right decision, but you're definitely gonna have to make a decision as it pertains to your romantic life. And I have a feeling it's about, you know, staying happening in the past or moving forward with your love life. Okay, so for Taurus that are in a relationship on Valentine's Day, I actually pulled the 5 of Swords for you. So basically with this energy, I definitely sense like you might have a disagreement with your partner, or communication might not be that clear on Valentine's Day. Mind you, Valentine's Day is like a few days before retrograde, so I feel like this retrograde energy is really going to be hitting you in your relationships, like your personal relationship, because you might have some disagreements or just mental confusion. I just sense this sense of miscommunication and confusion between you and your partner. Now, it doesn't have to be so serious and a super big fight or anything, but I just sense kind of like this kind of snappy energy. I don't know why, but like this overall energy for you on Valentine's Day is very kind of snappy or kind of cranky. It's not super smooth or like lovey-dovey or cliche. I feel like you might have some disagreements with your partner, confusion, miscommunication overall. But overall, on a brighter side, I feel like you might have a very mentally stimulating Valentine's Day, where there's like a lot of chatter, a lot of communication back and forth, whether that be kind of argumentative or just regular, or like conversational. It depends on your romantic life, but I feel like it leans more towards argumentative or confusion or miscommunication, like I mentioned. And if you guys want to find out what your prediction for Mercury in retrograde will be, I posted that video a couple days ago, so you guys can click the link in my description box to watch that video, and I'll see you Taurus in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about Valentine's Day for Gemini. Okay, Gemini, so I pulled like the overall energy for you for Valentine's Day and kind of like the days leading up to Valentine's Day and the days after, and I pulled the Hierophant and the Knight of Pentacles. So honestly, I feel like for Geminis, somebody wants a commitment from you. And so this can manifest many different ways, but I feel like you might get like an offer of some kind from someone. I really feel like in many Geminis' romantic life that you might be in like a situationship or the talking stage, or kind of like that weird gray area between single and dating or in a relationship. And I feel like on Valentine's Day or the days around it, somebody wants to make that concrete. Somebody wants to make it official. So someone might give you an offer. Maybe you're the person who wants to make something official with someone else. But either way, I feel like there's going to be a decision made on Valentine's Day that is really important. And even more so, like a decision that will take you from single to in a relationship. And I really feel like for a lot of Geminis, there is an offer of commitment on the table for you. And honestly, I feel compelled to say that with Geminis in your love life, I feel like you're at a stage where you're becoming more discerning about who you allow into your life romantically. Like I said earlier, maybe a lot of you are in the talking stage or in the kind of weird gray situationship phase. But I feel like on Valentine's Day or the days around that, you are being more discerning overall and making better decisions as it pertains to love, or at least trying to. I feel like I see Geminis on this path of being more straightforward, more blunt, more discerning. Like I said, I feel like discerning is really the perfect word for this, where you're like deciding, okay, I want this person in my life, or I want this kind of person in my life. I know some Geminis can struggle with indecision, but I feel like in your love life, you're becoming more decisive overall. And because you have this decisive energy about you, or decisive energy you are developing, you kind of get that in your partnerships mirrored back to you, if that makes sense. So hence why I said commitment is kind of in the air for you, because once you become decisive and discerning, as you probably already are, then you attract someone who wants to give you that same thing, someone who's decisive about you. So I feel like this theme of decisiveness is present, as well as commitment, as well as discernment for you Gemini on Valentine's Day. And so I have a message for single Geminis, and I also have a message for Geminis in a relationship. So single Geminis on Valentine's Day, I pulled the 3 of Pentacles for you. So on Valentine's Day for singles, I don't really see like a super like romantic cliche Valentine's Day. I almost see some Geminis doing like a what is it called, like a Galentine's Day. If you guys have done that or heard of that before, it's where you like have like a party with your friends that are girls, and it's sort of like a Galentine's without guys around, I guess. But yeah, I see some of you guys doing like a Galentine's Day or hanging out with your friends. I do see like some socializing or collaborating with others on that day, whether it be romantic or not. I don't really see a huge romantic energy for you Gemini singles on that day, but I do see like a social energy of you kind of maybe working with others, especially at your workplace. I do see a lot of like interactions there, so maybe you do some Valentine's at work, and it doesn't have to be romantic, maybe platonic, but I do see you at work or with your friends just hanging out and kind of almost taking it as just like a regular day. However, if you are single, this is one narrative and one possibility. And so as I mentioned earlier, someone might be sending you an offer of commitment, and this might happen through work somehow, or maybe this person is from your job. Maybe they send something to your job on Valentine's Day. That's one specific narrative that might not apply to everyone, but there can be something linked between your professional life, your literal job, and your romantic interest trying to make a commitment to you or offer you something. So there might be something in the works like that, like someone sends like flowers to your job or something like that. So that's one narrative. Other than that, it's not like a super romantic energy magnified for every single Gemini on that day. I feel like a lot of you guys are going to take it as just a regular day. Okay, so let's talk about the message for Geminis in a relationship already. Okay, so for Geminis in a relationship, you pulled a really interesting card. You actually pulled the Eight of Wands in reverse. So this can mean a lot of things and can manifest a lot of ways, but I feel like for Geminis watching this, there's like a full stop to something in your relationship. So I don't want to say that like your relationship will end. For some people it might be that. That's kind of like an extreme case, but I feel like with this energy, there's something you find out on that day, or something that's revealed on that day, or days surrounding that day, where it kind of changes the direction in your partnership, or just changes the energy overall. I really see this huge energy shift between you and another person, so your boyfriend or girlfriend, where the energy is kind of shifted in a whole different direction than it was prior to Valentine's Day. And also the fact that this card is reversed, it does indicate a delay in action of some sort. So it can manifest in more of a superficial way, where maybe they try to hang out with you on that day, or something doesn't go as planned potentially on that day. So potentially maybe there's like a romantic gesture your boyfriend or girlfriend does towards you, and maybe it like doesn't go as planned, or it's misinterpreted, or there's some sort of miscommunication or misstep, I guess, in a romantic gesture that you give to someone else or someone gives to you. So that's like the more of like the superficial manifestation of it, but like on a deeper level, there's like this energy shift with you and your partner. But it might not be like a super emotional shift. I feel like it's something about passion, about the directness of your relationship, or just overall the direction your relationship is going in. And there's going to be major decisions being made between you guys on Valentine's Day or the days surrounding it. Overall, there's this sense of decision making for Geminis, and I feel like if you're in a relationship, that theme is very magnified. You can also find out your Mercury in retrograde prediction for your zodiac sign as well, Gemini. I have that video on my channel. I'll link it down below, so you guys can go check that one out too. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Cancers can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Cancer, so for the overall energy I pulled for you on Valentine's Day, I pulled the Lovers card and I pulled the Nine of Swords. So this energy overall is very interesting for you, Cancer, specifically because you really pulled two cards that are very different. But however, on Valentine's Day and the days leading up to Valentine's Day, I feel like there's this energy where you kind of have fears about a certain relationship, or you just have fears about love in general, or certain like subconscious beliefs about it that kind of hinder your love life in general. Like I almost feel this sense of like pessimism as it pertains to love for you. I feel like your perception of love can be somewhat pessimistic at times, or you could be someone who's been hurt, and you don't have that same like optimistic outlook on love that you've had before. And so what I really see for you is that there's this potential for new love to manifest. There's like a relationship for you that wants to manifest, that really wants to come to fruition, right? But you were kind of blocking that subconsciously or consciously. And so with the Lovers card, I see kind of like this new love. I feel like deep down inside of you, obviously you still believe in love, and you still believe you can have a partnership with someone new and have it be successful and healthy, but you really still have these subconscious beliefs you need to get rid of. And like I said, you might not be aware of them, or you might be aware of them, but either way, they're kind of there. And it's almost like there's this new love behind the fence, but you can't see it because you're only seeing the fence. And you're not really seeing the potential that lies behind the fence and the new opportunities in love that want to manifest for you. So on Valentine's Day, I feel like there is new love for you. I do feel like you might be communicating with someone that you might be romantically involved with, right? And I feel like there's so much love around you, you just have to see it. And I feel like there might be a lack of perception of that love that exists around you, right? Because you're projecting like fears from your past onto new partnership, or there's just this theme of like projecting and just kind of sulking in the old mental space you were in when you were hurt in a romantic partnership. So I do have a message for singles, and then I have another message for people in a relationship too. Okay, so for Cancers that are single, the card I pulled for you is the Death card. So I feel like this just loops back around to what I was saying in the beginning about you kind of having these projections or fears or subconscious beliefs about love that are kind of blocking you from new love manifesting, right? So of course, I feel like Spirit is kind of communicating right now that you just need to put an end to those thoughts. You need to put an end to that whole entire mindset. And specifically, single Cancers watching this, I feel like you're ending an entire kind of relationship cycle or pattern that you've had in the past, and you're beginning a new one. And I really feel like Valentine's Day for Cancer placements is like a day or like a turning point between your old pattern of relationships and your new beginning. So I think I said this earlier, but there is a new beginning that wants to manifest for you, but it's really up to you at this point. It's almost like you're just there, you're just at the end, but you really have to let some stuff go, drop off some extra baggage. Like I said, you pulled the Death card, so you literally have to kind of put some thoughts to an end and really put like a certain mentality to an end that isn't really serving the health of your love life. So for singles, I do see something ending for you, and I really feel like it's your whole entire mindset. I don't think it's anything physical or something with another person. I do think it's something within yourself that's changing and something you're putting into metaphorically. Okay, so Cancers in a relationship, I pulled the Page of Wands for you. So this is kind of like an exciting card for you to pull for Valentine's Day because for Cancers in a relationship on Valentine's Day, I see you guys doing something exciting. I definitely feel like you might go on a really fun date, something passionate, something that is maybe a surprise to you or the other person. Like maybe somebody surprises you or you surprise them. I also see like a gift being given that is really heartfelt. So maybe I feel like you're giving someone a really heartfelt gift, or they're giving you a heartfelt gift, or either way, there's this really emphasized exchange of passion between you and your partner. I do see kind of like a passionate, romantic, kind of more cliche Valentine's Day. Maybe you guys go out on a date or something like that. And even more specifically, I see almost like a reignition of passion in your partnership. So maybe if things were a bit dull, maybe you didn't think you were going to do anything for Valentine's Day, maybe someone just surprises you with something, or you surprise someone else, or something unexpected that kind of boosts the love and romance in your partnership overall will happen on Valentine's Day for you. And overall, I really do get this really positive energy on Valentine's Day for Cancers in a relationship. If you guys want to see your Mercury in retrograde prediction and kind of like what will happen in your life during Mercury in retrograde happening at the end of February, go to that video. I just posted it a couple days ago, so I'll link it down below so you Cancers can check that out, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Leos can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Leos, so on Valentine's Day, you actually have such an interesting spread. So first I'm going to talk about your overall energy. So basically, you pulled a lot of cards for your overall energy, and I'll just put it on the screen right now. But basically, you did pull the 8 of Swords, 6 of Wands, 3 of Swords, 5 of Cups, and the Magician. And so I think the two words that I will use to sum up this entire energy is this mix of disappointment but victory. Like, I feel like on Valentine's Day, this could be a time where you're really maybe kind of almost triggered by past partnerships, or maybe you just have like these haunting thoughts about someone you dated, or you can't stop thinking about the past. But at the same time, I really feel for Leo, in your romantic life right now, I feel like you're at the end of one romantic cycle and beginning a whole new one. And I don't really mean like one specific person. Like, I don't mean you're breaking up with someone to get with someone else. I really mean like there's this like whole pattern you have in partnerships, right? And I feel like you know what patterns you have, and you're kind of ending that and really wanting to begin a new one. So on Valentine's Day, I feel like it kind of marks like this checkpoint that makes you aware of your past partnerships and how they didn't work and how you want to begin your newer ones. So I really feel like the message here is that although you might find some disappointment on Valentine's Day, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, your attitude is not that you failed. Your attitude is that it is a victory for you. And I really feel like although in your physical surroundings, like I said, there might be disappointment, maybe things don't go as planned with the person you wanted or whatever it is, right? I feel like your attitude is very optimistic. Your attitude is very self-assured. With this Magician card, I just feel this energy of you being like, okay, I have everything I need. I know who I am. I know what I want in a partnership going forward. And you kind of are going more towards the future now. And I think on Valentine's Day, I feel like you might be in this weird limbo of like, okay, here's these past partnerships I don't really want, that are disappointing me, that aren't fulfilling me. But at the same time, your attitude is more looking towards the future rather than the past. And I really feel like there's going to be a moment on Valentine's Day or the days surrounding it that you just really find the silver lining and you don't really sulk too much about whatever it is, or simp or whatever. I feel like you're really gonna boost your own attitude from within on that day and not sulk too hard about it. Although you will sulk or be disappointed, I feel like you're gonna come out on top emotionally, mentally, and just spiritually on Valentine's Day. Okay, so I have a message for single Leos, and then I have a message for Leos in a relationship too. Okay, so for single Leos, I actually pulled the Devil card for you for Valentine's Day. So don't get scared. I feel like the Devil card is so extreme in the tarot, but it's actually like not that literal. And specifically, I feel like this just ties back to what I was saying about you kind of being at the end of this kind of karmic pattern or karmic cycle and beginning a new one. And I feel like that's the real victory you're gonna obtain, right, on Valentine's Day, is this new karmic cycle you're initiating, which is the victory that you're gonna get on that day. And I feel like the Devil card kind of reaffirms that same message where like if you're single, you're just really cutting off those kind of metaphorical chains or metaphorical thoughts that just don't serve you when it comes to relationships. You're just really changing and ultimately transforming those karmic patterns that don't serve you anymore. And I feel like you're really becoming aware of them. And with the Devil card, it really represents this theme of control, the theme of karma, the theme of being entangled with something or being enslaved to something. So for single Leos, I feel like this can go the direction of you kind of being freed from that control, or kind of relinquishing the control or thoughts or kind of enmeshment you have with those old patterns and kind of beginning new ones. And I also feel too that for single Leos, I think overall you're just really becoming aware of like, okay, I had this pattern. I think that's the thing about the Devil card too. It just brings this awareness to the aspects of ourselves that might be challenging, the aspects of ourselves that are karmic, the aspects of ourselves that are the hardest to change. So I feel like with this Devil card, I feel like you're changing something in your relationship pattern history that is so crucial and so vital to the success in your future relationships. And so I feel like you're really going to be in that mental space on Valentine's Day. I don't know, I feel like there's not really a huge like literal cliche Valentine's Day for Leos. There obviously might be depending on your life, but I feel like you're going to really be in a specific mental and spiritual space on that day, and not too obsessed with like the literal physical, you know, Valentine's Day like activities. Okay, so for Leos in a relationship, I definitely sense quite a bit of romance on that day, quite a bit of sentimentality. I feel like you guys are going to do something very nostalgic. And obviously it is Mercury in retrograde season. Valentine's Day is like a few days before Mercury in retrograde starts. So I feel like you guys might do something nostalgic on that day. Maybe you do something where it's like, oh, you go to your favorite restaurant that you guys both go to. I know with couples, you know, you always have that like one song that you always play, or that one restaurant you go to, or that one thing that is your guys' thing, if that makes sense. Like that's our thing. I see you guys doing that sort of thing on Valentine's Day. I do see kind of like a maybe cliche romantic day for you if you're in a relationship, and I do see you being very like lovey-dovey on that day. I really have this vision of Leos just cuddling with their bae on that day if you're in a relationship, and just really hanging out together like the entire day. Even if it's not fancy, you guys are just like booed up. that whole day. And then if you guys want to know your Mercury in retrograde season predictions, I did post that a couple days ago, so you guys can check that out on my channel. I'll link it down below. It's on my channel too. So I'll see you Leos in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Virgos can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Virgo, so the overall energy I pulled for you on Valentine's Day is the Moon card and the Ten of Pentacles. So overall on Valentine's Day, I feel like there's a sense of nostalgia for you where you are maybe remembering your past partnerships, and there's also kind of this karmic theme present for you too. And I feel like there's this major theme of fulfillment for you on that day as well. So specifically, I feel like you're going to be very emotionally fulfilled within yourself. Overall, like your romantic status right now, I feel like romantically and just like the energy that's coming from you, I feel like you're fulfilled within yourself. You're confident within yourself. I feel like you're at a really peak space romantically where you're not really looking for love outside of yourself. I feel like your self-love is like really on 10 recently and in the upcoming weeks. So on Valentine's Day, I feel like the energy for Virgos too, the energy that you might project is kind of like a neutral feeling towards Valentine's Day. Like maybe you don't care about it that much, or you're not trying to participate in the like cliche thing of it. And then overall for you Virgos, I really feel like this like unbothered energy, like that I'm in my bag energy, like that energy where you're just so self-contained, so self-assured that you're just not pressed about anyone trying to come at you romantically, and you're not really trying to pursue anyone yourself. Although you might really do some like reflecting on your past partnerships on that day, I don't think it's like in a sad way. I don't think you're like simping or like being super stuck on your past. I feel like you're gonna reflect on your past in a very objective way, of course. It is Mercury in retrograde season, so it is the time for reflecting. But at the same time, I feel like you're just going to be very contained, assured, and very confident in who you are, and very fulfilled with your like current status in love. And so I pulled a specific message for single Virgos, and then I pulled another message for Virgos in a partnership. So for single Virgos, I actually pulled the Empress card, and I feel like this card very much sums up like the whole message I was saying earlier, where it's like you're very unbothered, you're very self-contained. That's how the Empress energy is. It is like the peak like divine feminine energy. And so I do see Virgos kind of embodying that divine feminine. And the divine feminine, like I said, she's not pressed about anyone trying to come at her. She's not pursuing anyone. She's confident in herself. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's just like this radiant feminine energy. And so I really do see single Virgos. I feel like you're somebody who will have options on Valentine's Day, especially in a romantic sense. And this just goes back to, I don't know if you guys remembered in my 2020 predictions video, I said that you guys are going to have a lot of romantic options throughout the year. And you might see this really manifest on Valentine's Day specifically. And if you guys haven't seen your 2020 prediction, you guys should watch that if you haven't already. I'll link it down below. It's also on my channel as well. But anyway, I really see you peaking in terms of divine feminine energy, or if you're like a man watching this too, like divine masculine energy. Either way, you're so confident, so self-assured, and people are paying attention to that. People are taking notice of this inner love that you have for yourself. It's almost like you're gonna be so beautiful, obviously physically to other people, but it's because you have that inner beauty. And it's almost like you are a magnet for a new partnership because you are so confident in yourself, and you have this energy where it's like you don't need anyone. And I feel like when you have that energy, that's when you really attract people towards you, because people really see you loving yourself so much that they want to love you too. So yeah, I love that Virgos really pulled the Empress card. I feel like that just really epitomizes your energy right now, and especially for single Virgos. I don't think you're pressed about a relationship, and I feel like one is going to manifest very soon for you if it hasn't already, just because of the beauty and radiance and vibrance that you are projecting outward. And then for my Virgos in a relationship already, I actually pulled the Sun card for you. So honestly, I love this energy for you Virgo just because it's a very optimistic, very bright energy. This is an energy of I can kind of see for some Virgos watching this that you might attract your, ideal partner, not on Valentine's Day, not guaranteed, but maybe around that day, maybe in the following months or the following weeks. So Virgos on Valentine's Day, if you're in a relationship, I do see very bright, optimistic energy. And honestly, I just see this energy of fun magnified for you, Virgo, on Valentine's Day. So this can be a day where maybe I feel like might be warm outside, so maybe you have like a picnic date or something where it's kind of nostalgic for both of you, something where you guys both have a lot of fun on the date. And I really see this energy of reassurance where maybe the partnership you're in currently really solidifies on that day, or gets stronger, or is taken to the next level somehow. Or I just really see this vibrant union taking place for a lot of Virgos, and since you're already in one, I just see that union you're in strengthening even more. And I really see you two just really exchanging a lot of genuine energy in between each other, and just like this magnetism really feeding off each other in the partnership you're in. And also, since it is retrograde season coming up, I did do a video on predictions for your sign and how retrograde is going to manifest in your life. So I did link that video down below if you guys want to see your predictions. Also, it's on my channel. So I will see you Virgos in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Libra can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Libras, so on Valentine's Day, the overall energy I pulled for you is the Justice card and Ace of Pentacles. So it's super ironic because you, Libra, pulled the Justice card, which is the Libra card in tarot. But honestly, for Libras, I do see an offer being made on Valentine's Day. And this is so significant because obviously as Libra, you're the sign that represents partnership. And obviously you might find in your life that partnership is a huge, just major theme for you. And so I see this energy for a lot of Libras where obviously you're someone who might be talking to someone, maybe you're in like a situationship, or there's a dynamic where it's like you're in that weird line between like just friendship and dating, or that line between just talking and an actual relationship. So some of you guys might have those specific connections, but I see on Valentine's Day, maybe the days leading up to it or the days after, somebody making you a concrete, specific offer of love. And I see this offer being made very clearly or directly where someone is just like, okay, we've been talking for X amount of days, X amount of months, let's make it official. Or we've been friends, I really like you. There's kind of like a concrete decision being made as it pertains to the future of your partnerships. And specifically, this might manifest as an offer of love being made to you. Potentially, you're making that offer of love to someone else. And honestly, I feel the vibe from this reading that it's something that you do want. And I kind of almost want to say the soulmate word, but I don't want to like project that on every single Libra. I feel like for some Libras, it's just like a partnership that you really want to manifest, and it's really close to manifesting. And it might specifically manifest on Valentine's Day through an offer someone makes to you. So yeah, I feel like this isn't like unrequited. I feel like this is something that is very mutual between you and someone else. So with that being said, I do have a message for single Libras, and then I have a specific message for Libras in a relationship already. So for single Libras, you actually pulled the Page of Pentacles. So again, there's this theme of an offer being made. The Page of Pentacles is really similar to the Ace of Pentacles because it's both like the first card of that suit. But even if you just look at the imagery of both of those cards, it's a hand offering something. So I really see someone offering you something, an offer or token of love, or a gesture. There's going to be something that happens on Valentine's Day or the days surrounding it that is like a huge turning point between you and someone else. So for like a single Libra, honestly, I feel like Libras are never single, let's be honest. I feel like you guys are always like talking to someone or in a situationship. But for single Libras, I feel like there's going to be someone in your life that you're talking to, that you have a situationship with, that is going to take it to the next level with you. Either way, one of your options is going to get serious. And I feel like one of the options is like, it's going to be one that you want. It's not going to be something that's like unrequited or something where it's like someone offers you something and you don't really like them. I feel like it's going to be something where it's like your crush or the person you actually do want to date is going to offer you commitment. So yeah, for single Libras, on Valentine's Day, I do see an offer being made or some sort of new beginning in love, or some sort of romantic gesture being initiated towards you that ends up in a partnership. Okay, so for the message for Libras in a relationship, you actually pulled the 7 of Cups in reverse. So this message specifically is very clear. I definitely feel like it's something where there might be a lot of miscommunication or confusion between you and your partner. And I feel like specifically this manifests as you guys fighting over some sort of lie that's told, or there's some kind of mistruth that was said in a partnership that might come like out of the, I guess, secret, or come out of the dark on Valentine's Day. And I feel like this card is kind of like a warning for Libras to not be disillusioned or be manipulated or confused by your partner or by something your partner says. Either way, there's this kind of energy of confusion between you and a partner on Valentine's Day, which makes sense because it is like a few days before retrograde. So I do see that like retrograde confusion energy, disillusioned illusions energy, really leaking into your partnership. And this might manifest as some sort of confusion. Maybe there's some sort of lie that's told, or maybe not like a lie literally, but like something is said and it's misunderstood, and then there's just like this whole thing where it's like it seems like a lie, but it might just really be like a misunderstanding or some sort of confusion of words or something like that. So yeah, if you're in a relationship, just be aware of like this kind of disharmony that might happen, or kind of confusion that might happen. It might not be that serious. It might not lead to like a breakup or anything, but it's just like a little bit of confusion. Other than that, I do feel like the advice with that card is to like not be confused by your options, not be confused by what you're being told, and just be wary of confusion that happens between you and your partner on Valentine's Day. And also, speaking of retrograde, if you guys want to know your full prediction for retrograde and how it will affect you during the end of February, I did do a video about it, so you guys can go to my channel. I'll link it down below, and I'll see you Libras in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Scorpios can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Scorpios, so the overall energy I pulled for you on Valentine's Day, or the days leading up to it, or the days after it, I pulled the Strength card and the Hanged Man. Overall on Valentine's Day, like specifically like your energy, I see you being very relaxed, being very much contained within your own self-confidence. I also feel like this is a day for you, or just like a time for you, where you're really just focused inward. You're focused on yourself, your well-being. I feel like it's a day where you're just like not pressed about the holiday, if that makes sense. I feel like you're like either very neutral to the holiday or indifferent to it. You might not really be participating in it in a very cliche way. And I feel like at that same time, you're exhibiting a lot of self-love, a lot of self-assurance, where you're not really worried or bothered, but more so just self-reflecting, turned inward, and very self-confident too on that day. And I also sense that some Scorpios might have just gotten out of a relationship, or you are single, but I feel this energy where it's like you're very comfortable in that fact. You're not really like anxious about that. You're not sad that you're single. I feel like you're so just confident in who you are and where you are right now romantically, that you're just not really pressed or bothered about like romantic dynamics. You're not really bothered that it's Valentine's Day. You're just really chilling, relaxing, and happy where you're at. And then honestly, I will say for some of you, it's like a day where you take yourself on a date, or you hang out with yourself, or I don't know, you show yourself some sort of self-love on that day, because you're not really pressed about the whole Valentine's Day in general, potentially. Okay, so I have two separate messages. I have one specific message for single Scorpios, and then I have a message for Scorpios in a relationship. Okay, so for single Scorpios, I pulled the Emperor card, and I also pulled the 5 of Pentacles. And this is weird energy. I feel like with this Emperor card, this can represent a masculine energy. And I feel like the fact that it's paired with the 5 of Pentacles, I feel like there's maybe like a masculine figure in your life, like maybe like an ex-boyfriend. I really don't see it being like a current like bae or boyfriend, but maybe there's someone like a masculine energy that is very petty towards you on that day, or they do something that is kind of like a power move towards you, and it might involve money. Either way, I feel like one narrative for some Scorpios is like this kind of petty energy coming from like a male or masculine figure in your life, and he might do something petty relating to like money, or like I don't know, like taking a gift back, or cutting you off, or something like that with having to do with money or resources, I do see like kind of like this petty storyline for some of you guys. And then also another narrative for some of you guys that kind of links back to what I said initially about you being really like in your bag, really being confident, showing yourself a lot of love. I feel like on Valentine's Day for single people, you might be spending a lot of money on yourself, or just like indulging on yourself really, and being really grounded in where you are romantically right now, and not really trying to change that on Valentine's Day, literally. And so if you're single, I do see kind of like this self-assured, self-confidence, kind of like this energy of like, I'm here, I'm chilling. Like I said, a lot of you guys I feel like might be neutral to Valentine's Day overall, and you're just kind of like in your bag, like I mentioned, and just really self-assured and not really pressed about doing the most, and specifically you might be spending money on yourself or taking yourself out on that day. And then for Scorpios in a relationship, I did pull the 6 of Swords for you. So again, there's kind of like a lot of narratives this can manifest as, but one of the narratives is that maybe on Valentine's Day you go traveling with your partner, or you kind of take a vacation, or maybe it's like a surprise thing where your partner takes you somewhere. It doesn't have to be too far, or maybe they surprise you with tickets to something. Either way, there might be the element of travel involved in what you do with your partner on Valentine's Day. And then, like I said, even if you're not traveling literally on that day, they might give you tickets to some sort of vacation later in the year or later down the line. There is this element of travel emphasized for you guys. So it might be short distance travel, long distance travel. Either way, your date or thing you do on Valentine's Day might involve travel. And then for some of you guys, this can represent kind of like a breakup. Maybe not literally a breakup, it doesn't have to be super extreme like that, but this kind of like mental shift in a partnership might happen for you. And for those of you in a relationship, I think Valentine's Day is gonna be that day that is like a huge turning point in your partnership, for example. And really specifically, like if you're talking to someone and you don't know if it's like serious or not, maybe you guys haven't DTR'd yet, so if you haven't defined the relationship yet, Valentine's Day is gonna be that day, and it might lead to like, okay, I'm not trying to be committed with you, or I am trying to be committed with you. And I think for a lot of you guys, there's gonna be a partnership where it's like, it's not gonna go further than it is right now. So it's not technically a breakup, but if you're sort of in like the talking stages of a relationship, or just like the beginning chunk of it, I think Valentine's Day is gonna be that day where it's like, okay, we're going up, or we're just ending it right here. So I do see kind of breakups from that sense. It's not like a super serious breakup of like, okay, I've been with them for years, we're breaking up on Valentine's Day. I think it's more so gonna be like that moment of like, okay, we're dating, okay, we're not. But yeah, if you guys want to know your specific prediction for Mercury in retrograde and how your February month will be affected by that, I did do a video on it, so go to my channel if you want to see it. Also, I'll link it down below. And I'll see you Scorpios in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Sagittarius can expect for Valentine's Day. Okay, Sagittarius, so let's start off with the overall energy. Now, the overall energy, I pulled Page of Wands and Page of Cups. So definitely with like this page energy, I feel like there's like a new beginning in love for you. It's definitely a time of like just like harmless flirting and like harmless like banter or harmless romance. I definitely feel like this sort of like lighthearted vibe for you for Valentine's Day. It's not like a super deep emotional thing. I feel like there's a lot of lighthearted flirting that is going to go on. And in general with your love life, Sagittarius, I feel like you're just kind of happy where you're at. As a Sagittarius, I feel like you're naturally somebody who is all about their own independence, all about their own freedom, right? You're very skilled at just being content with your own presence. And I feel like you're not necessarily the type of person that always needs somebody around them romantically to feel good about themselves. And I really see that same energy magnified in these cards. And on Valentine's Day, I feel like there's like a new passionate beginning, or there's like two narratives at play here. There's one where it's like there's a new beginning in love for you, a new passionate beginning, Or it could just mean that like harmless flirting is the main theme overall. It doesn't go past that. But for a lot of Sagittarius, I do feel like there's a new beginning and it's just starting out. So it's something that you probably don't even know about yet, or something where it's like, oh, they're just my friend, or oh, this is someone I just see in passing. But that same person you see in passing, that same person that's just your friend, you might just start flirting with them and it starts off very innocent and then it blossoms later. So I kind of see that narrative developing for a lot of Sagittarius. But for the other like section of you guys, I feel like, and then on Valentine's Day, some of you guys can expect maybe like a gesture of love or an offer of love. I wouldn't say it's a super concrete offer. I do feel like it's more of like a gesture and maybe like cliche things like that, but some sort of gesture, offer, romance, flirting is going to happen for you on Valentine's Day or around that time. And then I do have a message for single Sagittarius, and then I also have a message for Sagittarius that are in a relationship already. Okay, so for single Sagittarius, I did pull the 9 of Wands, and then it's almost kind of ironic that this message is for single Sagittarius, and this card is kind of representing somebody who is independent. So I really feel this theme of independence for you, Sagittarius. And if you're single, I feel like you're somebody who isn't too pressed about a relationship right now. I feel like you're overall very content in your singlehood. But since this is the 9 of Wands, this 9 to me really represents the almost like culmination of something. It's sort of like that one stop before the victory, number 10, right? And so I feel like that goes back to the overall energy I mentioned in the beginning, where it's like there's the beginning of something happening. There's the beginning stages of a relationship. Not even like the beginning stages. It's like almost like that precursor to the relationship that is like the flirting, the banter, what have you. And so I feel like with this card, if you're single, I feel like it's almost like saying like, yeah, you're single, but not for long. So for a lot of single Sagittarius, I think maybe not on literal Valentine's Day, but I feel like kind of like the months or weeks preceding that, there is a relationship that can manifest for you. It's not necessarily ready to develop now. I feel like it's not ready yet, but I think after retrograde and after Valentine's Day, I think for singles, you're gonna find yourself in a relationship or something close to that, if you're not in one now, or even close to being in one now. And then for Sagittarius in a relationship, I pulled the 2 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. So this is very interesting energy romantically. To me, with this energy, it's sort of like either you or your partner has like their guard up about something. It could be about money, because I did pull this Pentacles energy for you. But either way, there's like a guard being put up by someone, or something's not being said. I feel like there's like that awkward energy, you know, when there's like that awkward tension between you and someone else because there's sort of like an elephant in the room. I feel like there's like some sort of metaphorical elephant between you and your partner, and on Valentine's Day you might be able to feel that energy, or maybe you're feeling that now, or you will feel it soon in the future. I feel like because of that kind of guarded energy, or that energy of kind of not showing your hand completely, you have to make a decision. 2 of Pentacles is the decision. So I think with your partner, you're gonna have to make a decision about them, about the direction the relationship's going in, about how you want to solve a problem you might have. But either way, I kind of sense like this tension that's going to result in a major decision. Now, like I said, this might not literally happen on Valentine's Day, but maybe sometime around there, and maybe the fact that it is Valentine's Day will kind of exaggerate whatever issue the cards are speaking of. Ultimately, I feel like if you're in a relationship, you're going to have to make a decision about that relationship or about something within that relationship. Now, I'm not going to take it to the extreme of like this is like breakup energy. I don't think it's like breakup energy, but it's kind of like that thing of like, okay, a decision needs to be made between us. Let's talk it out face to face and be mature about it. And then also, speaking of Mercury in retrograde, I did do your prediction for retrograde and predict kind of like how your month is gonna go because of retrograde. So go to my channel if you want to watch that video. Also, I'll link it down below so you guys can click it if you want to see that one too. Okay, so let's talk about what Capricorn can expect for Valentine's Day. Okay, Capricorn, so for your overall energy, I pulled the 8 of Pentacles reversed, and I pulled the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like that energy is kind of ironic just because I feel like it really sums up Capricorn energy in a nutshell. But however, as it pertains to Valentine's Day and in this context of romance, I definitely feel like on Valentine's Day, you're going to be very preoccupied with work. And honestly, I feel like you might be somebody who is kind of neutral to the whole idea of Valentine's Day, or maybe you're kind of indifferent towards it, or maybe you're just like gonna go about your day, about your schedule, and really not stress yourself too much about love, who likes you, who's texting you, that kind of stuff. However, I do feel like in the cards it's kind of saying that something might not go as planned for you, maybe as it pertains to work, and I've sensed this kind of subtle frustration on that day for you, or around that time for you, because maybe you're preoccupied with work, and maybe as a result you're just frustrated or stressed about it. Honestly too, I feel like with this overall energy, you could be somebody who is a little bit skeptical about commitment right now. Like I said, maybe you're focused really on work more so, or like your career. And the funny thing is that I feel like this really relates back to your Mercury in retrograde prediction I did for you guys. And that video is on my channel now, so I'll link it down below if you guys haven't seen it yet. But in that prediction, I mentioned how Mercury is going to be retrograde in your 3rd house. You're going to have a busy month. You're going to be a little bit stressed. Your mind might be very busy. And I feel like that's showing up in the cards now. And I feel like you're going to start really feeling that around Valentine's Day. So with this energy, I do feel like you're not too preoccupied with romance right now. Nothing about your cards like screams romance at the moment. It screams more about work and a little bit of like miscommunication or misunderstanding, or things not going how you planned as it pertains to work and your goals. And then also, I do feel like there's a new opportunity on the forefront for you. Now, it might involve love. Ace of Pentacles always speaks of new opportunities, especially financial ones, material ones. And on Valentine's Day, you might see some sort of opportunity coming towards you, even though you might be feeling retrograde really hard and be feeling a little bit discombobulated. I feel like there's still going to be a very important opportunity that presents itself to you either on Valentine's Day or kind of like around that day. Okay, so I have a message for single Capricorns, and then I also have a separate message for Capricorns in a relationship. Okay, so single Capricorns, I actually pulled the Page of Swords for you. And so with this card, I feel like if you're single, you might be somebody who has like dating profiles. Maybe you're looking for someone online. Maybe you're doing that like sort of near Valentine's Day or literally on Valentine's Day. But as I mentioned earlier, I feel like you're just not too emotionally invested in romance right now. And I feel like if you're single, you're somebody who might be kind of questioning why you're single, or how to get a potential partner. But I don't feel like you're too stressed out about that. I feel like with this energy, you're somebody who is kind of pondering about romance. I feel like most people do that anyway. And if you are looking for someone, I feel like you're looking at it from a kind of logical standpoint, and a very analytical standpoint, where you're like questioning yourself and what you want in a relationship, and then questioning the kind of people you attract, or questioning the kind of person you want to be your partner. So I kind of see like single Capricorns kind of like playing with the idea in their head. Like I said, maybe you're making like dating profiles, maybe you're making them not really seriously, but you're just kind of putting yourself out there a little bit. And honestly, I don't really feel like a huge amount of romance for you at the moment. But I feel like it's something you're really not trying to attract consciously at the moment. You're kind of invested in your own thing, but of course you're still pondering the idea of romance. Okay, so then for Capricorns in a relationship, I pulled the 9 of Pentacles. So if you're in a relationship, the 9 of Pentacles is actually like the ultimate like single card. Like it's a very independent energy. And so I feel like if you're in a relationship, you might be gaining a sense of independence. Now this doesn't have to manifest as like breaking up. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but I feel like you're gaining a sense of autonomy in your relationship, and this could be really like a result of maybe you struggled with codependence in your partnership, or a clingy partner, or maybe you were with someone where it's like you guys didn't have healthy boundaries. So if you're in a partnership, I really do sense you coming into your own sense of independence, your own identity. Maybe it could be something where people think of you as a couple always, and then somehow you kind of establish your own identity. Either way, I really do see you establishing independence within your own partnership, and it doesn't really have to be breaking up. I don't feel like breakup energy with this. I do think it's just because you're gaining your own identity and independence within a partnership that you're in. Okay, so let's talk about what Aquarius can expect on Valentine's Day. Now, Aquarius, it is your season, and of course, Valentine's Day does fall in your season. So it's really interesting to see the kind of energy you'll be feeling during this time. So the overall energy I pulled for you is that I pulled the Devil card and I pulled the Knight of Cups. And so this is such an interesting combination, and the first thing I thought, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw these two cards is like F-boy energy. And I definitely feel like that might be a possible narrative for some of you guys. But the Devil and Knight of Cups is F-boy energy, and maybe like a F-boy will be maybe trying to make their way into your life or trying to offer you something, or make a gesture to you on Valentine's Day that is romantic, but maybe you don't really feel the same way about them. And overall, I do feel like for a lot of Aquarius, you're gonna have your ex hit you up on that day. Or maybe your ex hits you up maybe the days before that, the days after that, or they try to contact you indirectly or passively, like on social media, on like Snapchat, Instagram, or even text. And I know with tarot cards, the Devil seems like a really dramatic card to get, but I feel like the Devil in this instance really speaks of this sense of karma or karmic partnerships. I feel like you're at a space, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, where you're really trying to put an end to those karmic partnerships, where you're really just trying to be in your own independent spirit and not keep repeating those same toxic patterns or just patterns in general you don't really want in your life. So I feel like the cards are kind of warning you where it's like, okay, someone might try to hit you up or kind of offer that gesture, right? But you really have to question it and see it a little bit more deeply, and just be wary of their character. And if it's someone from your past trying to hit you up, it's probably not a good idea to like entertain them. But other than that though, I feel like for other Aquarius, if you don't have this exact scenario happen to you, I do think romance will be kind of offered to you, but it's the kind of romance you really have to take a double take at, just because we are like in retrograde season, and it's not really a great time to start new partnerships. But I do think romance will be kind of offered to you, maybe in more of like a lighthearted way during Valentine's Day. Maybe somebody buys you candy, flowers, any little gesture like that. I do think people will initiate towards you, but I don't see something serious developing from that, if that makes sense. Okay, so then I pulled a message for single Aquarius, and then I pulled one for the Aquarius that are already in a relationship. Okay, so for single Aquarius, I did pull the Queen of Pentacles. So for single Aquarius, I definitely feel like you're in a space where you're very content where you are. You might be someone who's very content being single. You're not desperate for a relationship. You're not stressed about it. I feel like this is energy where you're just very much confident in the space of life you are in right now. And then honestly, I see this manifesting with some Aquarius where it's like you're focused on your resources. You're focused on your goals. You're focused on your money. You're so focused on your own thing and what you have going on that you're really not pressed about what is in your peripheral. You're not really pressed about who's chasing you, who's calling you, who's texting you. I feel like you're very much focused on your own goals at this time. And so if you're single, I feel like one, you're not really pressed about a relationship, like I said, and on Valentine's Day, maybe you're not really expecting something from someone else. Maybe you're not really checking to see who's gonna give you something. I feel like you're in a space where you're not afraid to give yourself that love. You're not afraid to spend money on yourself, take yourself on a date. I feel like you're very content where you are right now. And then for Aquarius in a relationship, I actually pulled the Six of Cups. And I feel like this is such a great card to pull for Valentine's Day because this is very like Valentine's Day energy. This is energy that is very warm, fuzzy, very romantic too. And this is energy that also is kind of nostalgic as well. So maybe in your partnership that you're in, you guys do something that is kind of nostalgic for both of you, or maybe you go to your favorite date night spot, you do your favorite couple things. I do see like a very kind of cliche Valentine's Day for you guys, where you guys might cuddle, watch movies, maybe you just stay home with them for Valentine's Day and you guys like eat snacks or have a date at home. And either way, I feel like there's this very cozy vibe on Valentine's Day between you guys. Like it's not really a day where you guys are having issues or arguments. I feel like you guys are really gonna enjoy each other on that day and specifically be very nostalgic and very lovey-dovey towards each other on Valentine's Day. And then also I did your Mercury in retrograde prediction that is happening in February. So if you guys want to know your prediction for that, I'll link it down below. It's on my channel. And I'll see you, Aquarius, in my next video. Okay, so let's talk about what Pisces can expect on Valentine's Day. Okay, Pisces, so on Valentine's Day, the overall energy I pulled for you is the Sun card as well as the Ten of Wands. And I think the interesting thing is that I feel like with the Sun card and Ten of Wands, it's kind of conflicting energy. I do think with the Ten of Wands energy, it's representing this burden you might have. Maybe in your romantic life you feel burdened, or you might feel burdened by the pressure of Valentine's Day, the fact that it's Valentine's Day, or couple season, or whatever. But for other Pisces, I do feel like this might manifest as like maybe you're just burdened by other things in life. Maybe you're not really focused too much on the whole like hoopla of Valentine's Day. Maybe you're like indifferent to the holiday or neutral about it. And for some of you guys, you might even be dropping certain burdens to just focus on yourself that day. And then also I feel like for you, there's this energy of being overwhelmed, but not like overwhelmed in a sad way or a very distressed way. I feel like you'll be overwhelmed with happiness on Valentine's Day, or kind of like around the days before that or after that. I feel like for you right now, you are very focused on your own self-confidence, and I feel like you are very radiant because of that, and you're very vibrant because of that. I feel like for a lot of Pisces watching this, you have like this inner beauty that's kind of developing within you, and on Valentine's Day, or kind of after that, before that, you feel kind of overwhelmed with that sense of confidence, overwhelmed with that sense of optimism and vibrance that you do have. And then honestly, because of that, you become so magnetic to other people. I do see Pisces having this intense magnetism around them, so potentially on Valentine's Day, people notice that about you. Maybe you have some romantic gestures initiated towards you, but either way, I feel your energy so strongly in these cards, showing me that you are just overwhelmed and just overspilling with this sense of confidence, self-worth, and vibrance. Okay, so if you're a single Pisces watching this, I have a message for you. And then if you're in a relationship, I have a separate message too. Okay, so for single Pisces, I did pull the Hierophant card. And this is really interesting because the Hierophant card is the marriage card. However, I don't want to just say that single Pisces are gonna get married soon. Although I do feel like that is possible for some of you guys, where engagement or marriage might be in the cards for you. However, on a more like everyday level, this card does represent commitment, decisions, decisiveness, and discernment. So maybe when it comes to relationship dynamics, maybe you have some options on the table, and maybe if you're single on Valentine's Day, you're gonna make a decisive decision about who you choose to let into your life romantically. And this could be you making a commitment to someone else romantically, or someone making a commitment to you. Either way, I do see this energy of commitment and a decision being made on your behalf on Valentine's Day or the days around then. And I kind of feel like this goes back to the initial message I said about how you're so vibrant and confident. And I feel like when you are in that space and in that energy, then you are in more of like a powerful position to make choices about who you let into your life. And I feel like this Hierophant card is really reaffirming that if you're single, you do have the option, and you're gonna initiate commitment when you want to, or make a decision about someone on more so your terms, because you are the one most likely being pursued in this case. And then if you're in a relationship, I actually pulled the Nine of Cups for you. So with this Nine of Cups energy, it is very cliche Valentine's Day energy. It is very lovey-dovey. It is like the wish fulfillment card, right? And so on this day, I feel like if you're in a relationship, this is a day where you might get a really nice gift. You might go on your dream date. This card is really all about fulfilling some sort of happy wish or joy that you have. And this card is the ultimate contentment card. So if you're in a relationship, I feel like on Valentine's Day, you're gonna realize how content you are with that person. And I feel really happy for those of you guys in relationships, because I feel like the relationships you are in are successful and very productive to your well-being. So congratulations to those Pisces in relationships. I do feel very positive energy around the relationship you are in, and I see a lot of happiness and contentment within that relationship.